Hello everyone, welcome to my channel RPG Retro Reviews. I'm Captain Courageous and I review old school modules and games and try to give them a fun and informative analysis. This week I'm taking a look at module A0 Danger at Darkshelf Quarry. This module was included in the Wizards of the Coast release Against the Slave Lords. This hardbound tome was part of the premium reprint series published in 2013 during the playtest period for D&D Next, as Wizards of the Coast moved from 4th to 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. This module is actually written for the first edition of the AD&D game. There's a lot to cover with this one, so let's get started. Spoiler warning, I will be revealing a few of the really cool secrets of this module, so if you plan on playing in it, you might want to skip the video for now and direct your DM to this video. Still with me? Great, let's begin. Published in 2013 as part of the premium reprint series released by Wizards of the Coast during the transition from 4th to 5th edition D&D. The company was drinking deep from the old school well during this time, with premium reprints of the 1st edition Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and the Dungeon Master's Guide, as well as a compilation book, Dungeons of Dread, which was a reprint of the S series of modules. Against the Slave Lords was also a compilation release of modules A1 to A4, the Slave Lord series, which I've recently reviewed. For this release, Wizards of the Coast elected to have a brand new module written, a prequel to the A series, and for that task they tapped the always dependable Skip Williams. Skip Williams' involvement with D&D goes back to the early days, as he was friends with Gary Gygax's son Ernie and participated in a gaming group run by Gary, playtesting early AD&D modules. His professional association with TSR began as a part-time clerk at the TSR Dungeon Hobby Shop in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. He directed the Gen Con Game Fair from 1980 to 1983 and is probably best known as the author of the Sage Advice column in Dragon Magazine, which he wrote from 1987 to 2004. When TSR was purchased by Wizards of the Coast, Williams made the move to Washington State and co-wrote the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons along with Monty Cook and Jonathan Tweet. Thus, Williams' pedigree to write a brand new 1st edition adventure in 2013 was well established. Danger at Darkshelf Quarry is an adventure module for character levels 1 to 3 and is firmly placed in the world of Greyhawk, as was the entire Slave Lord series. Williams was mindful of the original module's tournament roots in designing this adventure, but he does not let himself be constrained by them. For that reason, this adventure is the most campaign-friendly out of the bunch, meaning that the need for DM modification here will be minimal. The adventure begins when the heroes are contacted by the overlord of the village of Darkshelf, a man named Nestor. The quarry is a highly profitable enterprise for the village, gaining revenue from the mining of granite, limestone, quartz, and supposedly a vein of gold. However, the overlord suspects the dwarf who's running the place, Basili Eric, is not entirely what he seems. There's trouble brewing in the area, with citizens disappearing or being kidnapped, and while there were slavers apprehended and executed, the legitimacy of that investigation, which was run by the suspicious dwarf, is in question. The bodies of local villagers have been found around the area, half chewed up, and workers in the mines complain of strange noises and moans coming from the lower mines. There's also the matter of the group of dwarves that work the night shift in the mines that no one ever sees. With these suspicions in mind, the Overlord employed a man named Quan to look into things, and after filing a few reports, has since disappeared. Thus, the PCs are hired to uncover what exactly is going on in the quarry and learn the fate of the man Quan the Overlord originally hired to investigate. While this narrative starts out relatively straightforward, there are several twists and turns that await the PCs as they conduct their investigation, and there are several possible ways to approach matters as well, giving the players quite a few options as to how they wish to proceed. The Overlord gives the PCs access to some of Quan's reports, and they can learn that there is a ventilation shaft that can be used to gain secret access to the mines and its hidden location on the surface. In addition, since the PCs are legitimately hired by the village overlord, they can approach the mine's guardhouse openly and ask to speak to the leaders there, though that approach turns out to be quite dangerous. The pretense of the construction of the guardhouse near the mines was to protect the workers from raiding bands of marauders and wild animals, but in truth is there to serve as residence and headquarters for the secret slaving operation that is going on there. The lower levels of the guardhouse are where some of the slave pens are, so anyone inquiring and being too nosy will be quickly met with harsh reprisals. Basili Arak is actually a half-orc who's dwarf-looking enough to pass himself off as a dwarf. His real name is Brubgrok, and he is part of a growing slave network in the area that is filtering captives to the despoiled city of Highport in the Pomarge. His mysterious shift of clan dwarves actually goblins in his employ, which is why no one gets to see them, and as the heroes explore deeper into the mines, even more surprises are there to be uncovered. The module provides quite a few excellently rendered maps by the always dependable Mike Schley that include the area around the quarry, the guardhouse levels, as well as 3 full levels of the mines themselves. Unfortunately, as printed in the Against the Slave Lords book, these maps have been greatly reduced, and my old eyes found them a bit difficult to read. Fortunately, you can get very nice, high-quality maps directly from Mike Schley's website in PDF form, which also include player's maps you can use for running this one on a virtual tabletop. I should also mention that John Pinter has done a very excellent realistic maps version of this module as well, but they are not quite yet publicly available. The encounters are all well done and pretty much conform to the kinds of things one might expect to find in a mine, including deep shafts that lead to the lower levels and some very tricky traps. In addition, there is an underground connection to the Pelra River on the 3rd level, which can also serve as a secret entry point to the mines. There is a nice selection of beasties here to tangle with, including a clan of troglodytes on the 3rd level and a new monster called the Mud Tiger, whose origins come from the elemental plane of water and earth. They have a nasty claw and bite routine and the ability to generate an electrical burst. It's these beasties, a few of which have escaped the mines through the underground river, that are responsible for the chewed up bodies found around the village of Darkshelf. But their presence in the mines actually indicates that even darker forces are at work here. For me, it's Area 42 that offers the biggest surprise in the module. As it turns out, the half-orc Brubgrok has brought along a group of evil clerics to assist him in his operations, and they worship an evil deity known as the Elder Elemental Eye, or just the Eye. In Area 42, the priests have constructed a foul-looking obelisk with a large eye on each of its 4 faces. There, a priest is always present, making sure the fires stay lit and chanting an unholy supplication to his foul god. While this encounter and the presence of the clerics is not integral to the overall plot of this module, this serves as a nice little Easter egg and a nod to the fact that traditionally the Temple of Elemental Evil Adventure follows the Slave Lord series in the Greyhawk Cycle campaign. Kudos to Skip Williams for including that here. This is a tough module, and it's entirely possible for Brubgrok and his forces to defeat the heroes, though Williams does cleverly leave the DMing out. Defeated PCs will of course be put to work in the mines as slaves. There they will meet Overlord Nestor's missing man, Quan, who has secretly inserted himself among the slaves deep undercover. Quan can release the PCs from their chains and serve as a conduit for information. Upon defeat, the players can gather information about the slavers' operation from the half-orc Brubgrok or one of the defeated priests of the Elder Elemental Eye. If these foes are completely vanquished, the discoveries made by the PCs will certainly reveal the larger slave network in play, and the lords themselves will eventually piece together the threads that will lead to the city of Highport, and in turn will lead to the adventure module A1, Slave Pits of the Undercity. Artwork for this module is top-notch and by Kim Feigenbaum and Rich Longmore, and they do a great job of capturing that old school feel in a modern module production. The maps by Mike Schley are, as usual, well rendered and detailed, also highly usable. I'd also like to point out that Wizards of the Coast ran a fan art contest for this module, asking fans to submit their original artwork for inclusion here, and in the back of the book you can see the results. Many of these are amazingly good and rank right up there with the classic artworks of old. Acquiring a copy of this old school module compilation is relatively easy, but can end up being rather expensive. Originally going for about $50 upon release in 2013, this hardcover limited edition premium reprint is selling on eBay for between $80 and $150. I purchased this when it was originally released, and the bindings and cover are really nice. The stitch binding means that the book easily lays open on the table, but I'm certain that I wouldn't pay the outrageous prices folks are asking for this module on eBay. Fortunately, a hardcover print-on-demand copy is available at DriveThruRPG for only $18. A link for that is in the description. So, let's take a look at Danger at Darkshelf Quarry and the Against the Slave Lords premium reprint on my D20 scale of style, presentation, and value. Note that I've already done individual reviews on modules A1 through A4, so this evaluation is strictly limited to the new module and the various aspects of the hardcover reprint itself as a whole. Style-wise, I pretty much love everything about this. The fall leather textured hardcover, the embossed scowling rendition of Icar, the commander from the Slaver's Stockade in A2, is just awesome. The book includes forwards from all of the module's original authors, and A0 Danger at Darkshelf Quarry is packed with great artwork in the old school style. Adding to that, the excellent fan artwork in back, which is a lovely touch. Thus, this leaves me no choice but to give this a natural 20 critical hit. My rating for presentation is based solely on the new module, and I really love what Skip Williams did here. This is a dungeon crawl, it's a mystery, and it has many connections to the world of Greyhawk that not only lead to the further modules in the A series, but to more sinister aspects of the setting when he tossed in an Easter egg for the Temple of Elemental Evil. Unfortunately, it's Wizards of the Coast that kind of drops the ball here with the lousy print format for Mike Schley's maps. It's really puzzling why they didn't just add a few more pages to make them larger, rather than the near micro versions we get that makes them near impossible to read. So I'll rate this an 18. Finally, the value here is a mixed bag, probably a bit expensive upon release, as were all the premium reprints. The cost of this limited print run has only gone up due to the popularity of this classic series. So purchasing an original copy is going to leave a big dent in your pocketbook. But fortunately, DriveThruRPG has stepped up to the plate to provide a very nice reproduction that will allow you to get this entire series of modules in a hardcover compilation for only $18, and that includes the PDF, so I'm going to assign a value rating of 19 based on that. And that brings my overall rating for the Against the Slave Lords premium reprint and Danger at Darkshelf Quarry to a 19. Amazing. If you would like to purchase the print-on-demand version of this module from DriveThruRPG, a link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. My Saturday review this week will be on the classic D&D basic module B3 Palace of the Silver Princess, which has been highly requested. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Please join my RPG Retro Review Facebook page and consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon. As always, my friends, may your D20 roll true and game on.